Hi, everyone. Welcome to our September 4th Jupyter community call. It is the third community call this year, so very happy to see you all here. Again, this is a place for contributors to connect and just chat with the community, share the work that you're working on. And I want to give a special welcome to anyone who is joining us for the first time. I think we may have some one or two people. But please feel welcome to introduce yourself and add items to the short reports, celebrations, shout outs, anything of the sort. This call is being recorded and it will be posted on our YouTube channel for the entire community to view. As a part of the Jupyter community, we follow the Jupyter Code of Conduct, so you can read about that in our webpage. I will copy the link over and share that with you all in the chat. We have a few people signed up in the agenda. And I will share if you feel inspired to share something that you didn't get a chance to add. I think we're all trusted members of the community here. You can just add a short report. So there will be an unrecorded portion of the call later on, so feel free to stick around. So we'll start it off with the short reports. We have one from the Jupyter book community. I know that there's like no necessarily like there's you don't have to speak, but if whoever wrote this point wants to give a short introduction to the point, or I can go over it. Christy.
So I'm representing the Jupyter book community, and I'm very, very proud. This is a lion. I'm sorry, this is obviously a disaster for me to talk. That's Simba, that's Nala. So the Jupyter book community, I'm super, super proud that we wrote, and it was really collaboratively written. It followed the Project Jupyter authorship guidelines. There's like loads of people who are on the paper, and it just announces Jupyter Book 2 and the MIST document engine, and it's a big jump over from Sphinx into Jupyter Book 2, and so this is kind of a really beautiful sort of explanation of why, and it talks about the principles and a little bit about kind of how it's implemented. So that was a huge piece of work. Chris Holdgraf and Rowan Cockett sort of led the effort, but it really was very, very collaboratively written. So really encourage you to kind of go and check that out. Just give me one more second, please. I also asked them if there was anything else that they wanted to celebrate, and they told me to share that we have included a pronunciation guide for MIST. So now you know how to pronounce MIST. And if you can't hear me because there's some background noise going on, you can go to the documents and then you'll be able to know how to pronounce MIST.
That's awesome. Thank you, Christy, for sharing. And Jupyter book community is really awesome. Always doing a lot of great work. I see it all around. So I think up next we have Jupyter GIS. Do we have someone who wants to go over or some additional points there, or was that?
Yeah, I could do that. I think Kirsty added that. Thanks, Kirsty.
Yeah.
We had a hackathon a couple weeks ago in Berkeley that went really well. Some of the participants are here. Felt great. It was my first in-person hackathon that I hosted. So that was very rewarding. We had a lot of kind of big picture work and a lot of documentation work, a little bit of work on our API, and some folks exploring using development containers for supporting developers on any operating system. We have a blog post kind of going over the work that was done. I've got that highlighted. I think you can see stuff people are highlighting in HackMD, right? Line 75.
Okay. I have it on view mode only, so I think when you have it in edit mode, you can see. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And then lastly, I have a short shout out to the fact that Jupyter Lab 4.50 alpha 3, it's alpha 3, not 5. So I think I need to edit that. Sorry about that. Yeah, that is available for testing from a few weeks ago, along with Jupyter Notebook Alpha 1 or 7.5.0 Alpha 1. So I think currently there was some discussion in the front ends call for a target release date of a few weeks prior to JupyterCon. So if anyone wants to try that out and look through some of the milestone issues or PRs that are currently lined up for Jupyter Lab 4.5.0, please do take a look, and thank you whoever is updating my or copy and paste job. Yeah, that's it for me, I think. Next up, we have JupyterCon schedule is live.
Yeah, I just added that just now. I realized we got this event coming up, a little small one, happening in San Diego in a few months. So I figured it's worth calling out here. The schedule is live. Check it out. I'm recognizing a lot of people here are going to be there. So I see a lot of names, and I'm excited to see in person people I've met and haven't met. And so yeah, I think it's going to be a great time. So, try to make it if you can. It'll be great to meet you all in person. And yes, travel funding requests. I think Kirsty, you wrote that down. They're being reviewed right now, which is really exciting. So looking forward to seeing folks there.
Awesome. Matt, you have your hand up as well.
Yeah, I think we missed one from QuantStack on line 76.
Line 76. Oh, okay.
And Matt, I added that as well, but if you could just read it out loud, I'd really appreciate it, please.
Oh, okay. This is my first time hearing about it, but I'll be happy to read it out loud. Jupyter GIS is a GIS extension for Jupyter Lab, and looks like it was used as a supporting visualization for a Nature article. A prudent planetary limit for geologic carbon storage. And there's a link here to an interactive map on line 79.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Matt. I did not realize I skipped over that. I think we have gotten all the way through the short report. So now we can step into the agenda items. I think up first we have community workshops. And I'm not sure if somebody was going to speak on that, or Matt, did you want to talk about that a little bit more, or? Well, I can share as well. For this item as part of the community building working group, we have community workshops coming up, and the deadline for some proposals for the proposals is September 7th. So that's this Sunday. So it's closing in on us. We have we would like to see more proposals be submitted. There's, I think, currently maybe one or two. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, we would be really happy to see more proposals come through. There is a list, I believe, somewhere. I need to get some of that. Maybe I'll grab that and add that to the agenda. There's a list of ideas that Jason prompted during the front ends call for some things that people in the front end team would be interested in seeing as a community, as a workshop. And so that's a really good place to start if you are really interested in contributing, but maybe are not exactly sure what would be the best like workshop to host or to help out with. There is funding for a few workshops, 3 workshops, I believe. And so we would be happy to work together. Please reach out to any members of the community building working group. I see myself, Jason, and Matt here. We'd be happy to talk over any of your ideas, and maybe work together to figure out how to set that up. I think, let's see. Yeah, so another thing that I didn't highlight is that the workshops are focused on contributors. So we're really hoping to get members of the community to work together and can contribute to Jupyter in these workshops as, oh, Jason.
So I didn't mean to cut you off halfway through your sentence, just to add a sentence or two after you were finished.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was finished.
Oh, I was just gonna, if you're concerned about how much time it takes to put in a proposal, please look at the proposal form. It's really lightweight, and you don't need a venue and a date nailed down before you apply. You can apply with your proposed venue, proposed date, and a few sentences about the impact of the workshop, etc. And then like figure out, once you know the workshop is awarded, there's a total budget, Jupyter funded budget of up to 20K for reimbursing travel and venue and food and things like that. Once you know you have the award, then you can go nail down that venue and date. And the date can be anytime through next February. And if you're looking for venues, there are people at corporations that, if there's workshops that are aligned with, what their institution wants to help support, there's people at corporations and other institutions that have offered to host workshops for free at their venue. We have a great conference room that we can set aside for a dozen people or 24 people for a couple of days. So there's help and support often for these workshops. We just need a point person. Yeah, see, Zach says we'd love to host folks at Apple. And Kirsty has mentioned for various workshop topics that BIDS at Berkeley is willing to host, et cetera. So anyway, there's a lot of support. What it needs is, a person or two people or three people that are saying, we'll take the lead and like rally the cause. And here's the topic. Let me describe a few sentences, and we'll find help and support, etc. So don't hesitate to try to rally a few people around for a workshop topic. The proposal itself is fairly lightweight, and people love to get together. There is an active topic on Zulip for people to discuss workshop ideas and gain interest around the workshops. I see Serena's here. She's hosted a workshop before as well. There's other people up here that have hosted workshops before. I think they've been a great benefit to the community. Thank you so much for the people that have done these things.
Thanks, Jason, for sharing that. I think, yep, that's a great addition. Christy, I see your hand is up.
Constantine, you should do it. Like, we should, I think, because JupyterCon is happening in November, this call is a little bit of a tough timing. Jason's nodding because we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Like, the window that the executive council sort of suggested is like includes JupyterCon, which sort of slightly takes out all of November, and it includes December, which it's like most people aren't going to host an event that month. So I think the thing to highlight, and I'm just really saying this to like reinforce everything that Jason was saying. In the form, it says like, what's the budget that you will not exceed? So if you don't know exactly where everyone's going to be flying in from, if you don't know exactly how many people are going to be there, like take a sort of like I've done it where I've reviewed applications before where the application has said, like, if it's a small event, this is how much it's going to, like, if we get 10 people that want to come, it's going to be this. If we get 20 people that's going to come, if we've got 100 people that's going to be contributors to Jupyter, like, that's incredible. Probably low likelihood, but you could put in a budget for it. And so I think that I'm just sort of like reinforcing what Jason was saying, like, use the form to say, here's a good idea, and here are some people who are willing to run it if you fund it, and here's some sort of sort of like a set of error bars around how much it could cost. So I think that if I'm thinking about, like, if I was a reviewer, which I'm not, I would probably be looking for the questions that say, why is this important to Jupyter? Why does this support the Jupyter contributors and community? Like those questions are more important than the nitty gritty on exactly how you'll do it. So yeah, just again, really encouraging.
And I'll just mention again, we've done this workshop series for many years now. Like Serena posted in the chat, she's happy to talk with anybody about it. And other people, I think, here have also done workshops. This time around, like Rosio said, we're focusing on Jupyter contributors, either aspiring contributors or current contributors. And we're sort of running an experiment because we're restarting this workshop series under the LF banner, using the LF events team to help us plan and carry out and support these workshops. So the funding this time is for, we anticipate funding up to 3 workshops, sort of starting small, but we anticipate, another CFP for workshops going out, early next year, and this being a regular thing. So like we expect to learn a lot in this first iteration, and we expect this program to continue as well.
Sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand in Zoom. I don't see the button. But Jason, I wanted to say thanks for mentioning aspiring developers. I think I have some ideas to just invite the new people to try building some extensions and see what we can build in like a hackathon, a day or two.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for the discussion. I hope that we see some new proposals trickle in before this weekend. Okay, up next we have David. Are you on the call, David?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello. So I just wanted to talk about a small project I've been working on the last few months, which is called Microverse. So I'm pasting a link to a blog that I wrote about that. And let me try to share my screen. Okay, you should see my screen now.
Yes.
So Microverse is something similar to Jupyter Lite. It's a Jupyter Lab version that runs entirely in the browser using WASM. And the big difference with the Jupyter Lite is that in Microverse is actually based on Jupyverse. Jupyverse is a Jupyter server based on Fast API. And actually, so Jupyter Lite doesn't have a server. It got rid of the Jupyter server. And in Microverse, I did another choice, which is to embed and run a full-featured Jupyter server in the browser. So I'm going to launch Microverse here. It's a command to bundle the static assets that are going to be served. Let's see if my computer still works even with the video sharing. Okay, so now we have Microverse running at this address. And if I go there, it's going to download a bunch of stuff. And after a while, if everything goes well, we should see Jupyter Lab starting. Okay. So it went well. So it looks exactly like Jupyter Lab. We have our static assets here, our contents. So let's try and open a notebook. Okay, it seems to work. So the notebook is taking quite some time to initialize. Now it is. And let's see if we can run that code. And it seems to work. So this is just a small example doing some computation. So because it's really using the same centralized architecture as Jupyter Lab, a lot of things work for free. For example, if I open a new window, so as you've seen, it starts much quicker because everything is already initialized. But more importantly, it actually supports real-time collaboration. So it's really the same Jupyter collaboration that exists in Jupyter Lab, just running entirely in the browser. So that's the kind of things that Microverse can enable. Like it's more streamlined with the original architecture of Jupyter Lab, while Jupyter Lite has to re-implement a lot of things, and I know it because I've been involved, for example, in Artist in Jupyter Lite. It's really a completely different architecture, but for Microverse, it's just the same. It works out of the box. So it's just a small project. It's still a very experimental for now, but yeah, if people are interested, you can check it out. There is all the links are in the blog posts that I posted. That's all I have. Any question?
I see one question from Jason in the chat. I can read it out. It says, how does RTC work if the server is running in the browser, and how does data go from one browser tab to the other? I think you was had the question.
You're
Oh,
muted, David.
You're muted. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So the server is running in a service worker. So all the tabs actually are talking to the same server in this service worker, and that works just as in Jupyter Lab. There is so actually the service worker, as you may know, intercepts all the requests from the front end. And what we do in Microverse is that we have an ASGI client running in the service worker, because sockets and such don't work in the browser, of course. But the ASGI layer allows us actually to bypass all this transport layer and have a very high level transport layer, and everything works the same. We can use an HTTP ASGI client that talks to Jupyverse. So we translate the request from the front end, and we do them through this ASGI client. And then we get back the responses from Jupyverse, and we forward them back to Jupyter Lab frontend. One thing is that service workers intercept HTTP requests except for WebSockets. So WebSocket is actually emulated in Microverse using HTTP requests. So I see, yeah. Can microverse support existing Jupyter server extensions? So Jupyverse is a different server than Jupyter server. There are also extensions. It's completely extensible. Actually, Jupyverse is just a collection of extensions. So it supports Jupyverse extensions, not Jupyter server extensions.
Thank you, David, for sharing with us.
Thanks.
And I think I'll grab your blog link and I'll add it to the notes as well. I think it would be nice to have that in there. And I'm just gonna add it right in. I think we can. We have up next in the agenda is Constantine.
Hey, let me unmute myself. Hi, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. Thanks everyone for giving me time. I want to talk about the project I've done recently that helps users to discover Jupyter extensions, Jupyter Lab extensions. So it's called Jupyter Lab Marketplace. And who is this for? Basically for 3 categories of people. For Jupyter users, the extension discovery is hard, so you have to go dig on PyPI with a classifier or on GitHub. And my inspiration for this was something like Visual Studio Marketplace. How many of you have used this page in the past? So I did a lot when trying to find something. So I thought, why there's no thing like that for Jupyter Lab extensions? So decided to build one. Another sort of audiences is extension developers. If you trying to build something new, you don't know what exists. Maybe you don't want to duplicate someone else's work. So you want to go see what's out there. And I think for Project Jupyter, it's also important to get like a pulse of the ecosystem to know kind of how things are going. And it's super exciting because, as you'll see later, there are new extensions popping out literally every day. So maybe I'm going to skip. This is like a busy meeting. So, but I have like a brief history of extensions. We started with sort of separate Python server extensions and NPM packages. Managing was pain. We moved to pre-built model, and now there's Jupyter Notebook 7 and things like Jupyter Lite, all supporting the extension system, and you just publish on PyPI. A couple years ago, Trove classifiers were added, so you can search on GitHub already on Python package index, but it's still kind of not super well organized. And what I wanted to do is to combine something like VS Code extension marketplace with things like PyPI stats or PEPY.tech to see kind of download numbers. And so that's the first signal I include. Whenever I can find GitHub mentioned in PyPI, I will pull in data from GitHub on stars, things like number of open issues and link to a repo. I also get the recency update from PyPI, and I can do all sort of different sorts with that to help discovery. So I'll just jump into quick demo. Should drop a link in the chat, but if you go to labextensions.dev, you see there's extensions, and so it's already running. And you can see there are 821 extensions that we surface, stuff that's popular this month. So it just shows download for this month. I think Drupal Pigments is, I discovered it automatically being installed by Drupal installation. That's why it has such a large number. And I have to caveat, all this installations are not, all this downloads from PyPI are not real installations, kind of like a proxy. So should take it with a huge grain of salt, but at least relative numbers, I think, are interesting. You can see most downloaded stuff over time. So this is probably a proxy for number of Jupyter downloads, but other stuff, people probably deliberately installed or included in their environments. So you can see here. Most GitHub stars, gotta get this vanity metrics as well, as some of a proxy for the need and quality of extension. And this one I'm super excited about, just seeing kind of new extensions just popping out. As I said, you see there's just new ones created every day, and it's super excited to click on them and see. So you can see we would load whatever description developer provided on their PyPI page. So if you click on this, you'll see this is what we pull from, right? And you see all the downloads. So this is relatively new, so small number of downloads. You can see GitHub stars. And the last update. Okay, so I think I'm gonna jump back into my slides. I'm just gonna give you a little overview of how it's built, if you're probably curious. So this is a system architecture. Basically, I want to complete the cycle from people installing extensions to kind of people discovering more extensions, using that data to help people discover more extensions and get back and install more extensions. So basically what we do on Python package index, they publish information how to pull the data. There's a project Winehole using Cloud Function that pulls basically a raw log of all installs from PyPI and puts it in a Google BigQuery table, which is a public table, which is great. So you can use it. The downside, you have to pay for running queries on that, and it's quite a large table, which is now over, if you wanted to run a query, it's going to be over 2 terabytes of Google query, like bytes processed. But what I did, the pipeline I did, is I have a scheduled query in BigQuery, which will aggregate based on a package and that date. And it's not shown here, but since I aggregate metrics for last 365 days, 30 days, 7 days, and 1 day, basically I had to run initial sort of initialization query to aggregate for the last 365 days. And then after that, I just run the daily aggregations to my table. Now, then I can pull from that table to, I have intermediary JSON data set. This pull is relatively cheap. So I automated this stuff with GitHub Actions. I have some block list. Some extensions been problematic. And so I just block them from appearing here. But it's a relatively short, like less than 10 extensions list. And then I get info for all the JupyLab extensions published and their download numbers. And then I run enrichment based on GitHub data if I can find it. I want to experiment with AI enrichment, especially for things like extensions where authors did not put any README at all. So it's hard to say what it is. So it can be exciting to do a lot of interesting scanning using AI, but it's not there yet. And then after that is just automatically updated to this Postgres Supabase, and then there's some front end that I showed you. I left the database with a public API, so if you can grab a key and do some other projects with it if you want. Would be exciting to see like a data science project to see what's out there in ecosystem, like a state of JupyterLab. I'm gonna jump quickly in interest of time, like other work I'm doing. So AI enrichment, think it'd be useful to try to get some summaries. It's not there yet. I'm kind of battling with those models to give me useful stuff. But my basic idea was to pull Python wheels and try to analyze what's in them to kind of see what the functionality of extension is. This I'm just going to jump very quickly. Might be useful to do security scans to reassure folks when they download stuff. this is what I actually started with. The idea is when you click on VS Code Marketplace, click install, your VS Code opens if you have it, and then you can click install. So it would be cool to do something like that with Jupyter Lab, to include like a deep link functionality in the package manager, extension manager. So when link comes, you can open that page, and that way I can route people to that. Another question brought up by Mikhail Krasovsky on community forum is kind of figuring out Notebook 7 compatibility. I took a look at that. I think maybe I'm missing something, but it's really hard to figure out if extension supports Notebook 7. I tried to install a theme last night, and in Notebook 7, it kind of broke the UI. So it's like, oh, it may be an interesting problem to solve. Running costs, and yeah. I'm now open to your questions.
Yeah, sorry. For extension developers, is there like any metadata that they should include to make it easier for you? I assume like a GitHub link, but anything else?
Yeah, I would say if you have README, right? So your README, I think, is automatically uploaded to what you see on PyPI. That helps. I would love to see categories. There's something for themes, but I think for now, what I want developers to include, maybe GitHub links would be useful, good README, use a correct author. So like if you're a company, put your company as the author, maybe not like your person, because that will make it hard to identify who published the package.
Thanks, Constantine, for that demo.
Thank
That
you.
was really awesome. Okay, up next we have Voices of Jupyter Hub.
Yeah, I can talk about this one. So over the last months, some folks from organizational mycology have been studying the Jupyter Hub community and have run some events, talking to people and getting a lot of feedback and understanding what we do well and where we could improve. And they've put together a really great, really extensive, detailed report on the Jupyter Hub community, and it's really great work and likely useful reference for folks across the Jupyter community to look at and learn from. And I guess it's not publicly announced yet. This is the soft launch of it's publicly accessible, but not broadly announced quite yet. But everybody's welcome to have a look at it, and it's some really great work that I would encourage folks to read and learn from.
Is there a podcast coming from this work?
Not that I know of. I'm not
I want
sure.
to hear the voices of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe. I don't know necessarily what the publicity plan is for the report, but we will spread it wide soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And I think, yeah, I do see the link there. So, take a look. Up next we have think it's going to be Zach talking about the Jupyter Foundation CFP.
Woo! Let's go. All right. Hey, y'all. So good to see you. Yeah. So I didn't prepare for this because I just got thrown into this by Jason. But yes, the foundation, another experiment we're throwing out. So there's the community workshops that Jason showed, and I realized that this is maybe confusing because there's another set of opportunities to open up a proposal for you to ask for funding as well. That is a community proposal, but it's not the idea here is it's less focused on creating like a workshop necessarily, although that could be the option. But it's really targeting maybe something specific you want to solve in the Jupyter ecosystem, or something you want to build as a extension or something like that you think would be really good for the project. That doesn't necessarily fit the workshop model. It's more of we just want to sit down and tackle this problem, or maybe we want to grab funding to go and do this work. And the size of the grants are a little bit more open-ended than the 20K. And so this is kind of a opportunity to shoot for the stars on an idea, or maybe you have something that you see in the project that's really a gap that needs some resources thrown behind it. Maybe it's CI, CD. I don't want to put too many ideas in your head, but this is a lot more open-ended than the community workshop proposal, which is more structured around bringing people together in a workshop fashion. So this proposal is open through the end of the month, September 28th. And I think you can also expect that this is an experiment, and we're hoping to learn from it, based on what comes in. But the hope is that this becomes the regular cadence, that we're really unlocking these nice units of time where you can, kind of keep things in your head of what might I ask for funding to tackle around Jupyter and unlock resources for Jupyter. And the foundation is just stoked to be able to support the needs of Jupyter. That's the goal, right? Is just unlock more resources and opportunity for the project. Some of this, by the way, this is me shedding my ideas on it, is also it's a good opportunity to look for support that goes beyond just dollars to do engineering. It could be support for managing a project or building a roadmap, things like that, where you might need time from a professional to help you kind of align and build roadmaps and scheduling and things like that too. So, depending on what your need is, it's worth proposing and then seeing if the foundation can work with you to get those resources your way. Did I do the okay there, Jason? Okay, cool. Any questions?
Maybe I'll just add one sentence, and that is there's a few focus areas that the foundation is particularly excited to fund: growing contributor capacity and increasing the reliability, security, and what was the third word? Consistency of Jupyter software and team practices. So yeah, read the blog post, and then there's some accompanying pages to the CFP that delve a little bit. Sorry, can't use the word delve anymore. That really dive in more deeply into these areas. But really, it's a wide open experiment. Please bring your ideas, and we're looking for ways to support the community.
Yeah, and then maybe two more things. One is, I hope, and this is where feedback would be great, is I hope that the work to writing one of these proposals does not feel, no diss on the NSF, but like an NSF proposal. These should be really lightweight, right? This is the hope is that writing a proposal shouldn't feel daunting. It should feel really, really lightweight, and much more lightweight than maybe historically in getting funding around Jupyter. So there's that aspect. And then there's something else I was going to say, but I just forgot. But that was the main thing I wanted to encourage you on is know that the process should feel lightweight. If there's something that feels like a lot of friction to getting this done, let's reach out. Also, maybe my second word of encouragement is like start by either going to Zulip or posting an issue on one of the on a repo that has a lot of attention would be my strategy there. So just to like let people know what you're interested in proposing before you propose it, because and I'll say this as I did some program chairing for JupyterCon, and we saw just like 3 or 4 proposals come in that were essentially the same. And that was like, oh, we that signals a little bit of a lack of communication happening across the project. And so I think one lesson we could take from there is if you have an idea, especially something that feels like this is probably a common problem everyone's facing, posting it in a public forum and just gauging interest and maybe inviting someone else to co-write with you is really, really great. All right. And you can message me anywhere on all the channels if I could be helpful with questions.
Chris also has suggested that he's happy to brainstorm and collaborate with anybody on any proposal. I'm also happy to collaborate and brainstorm with people on any proposal. So yeah, reach out to us on Zulip or whatever other channel. We're happy to help brainstorm.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach and Jason. And yes, I learned from the JupyterCon proposals that thankfully there will be a few of us now hosting the tutorial together for Ascension. So I think that was the end of the agenda. There are some additional links shared in the other links section. So please feel free to take a look at those. But I think we can bring the call to a close for the recording. Again, thank you so much to everyone who's joining us today and all of our speakers today. Thank you for sharing with us your work and making this call fun and energetic and informative. And yeah, it's really great to have you all as a part of the Jupyter community. So please come back, continue coming back. We're hoping to host another community call in early December. So if you have any feedback to provide for us, I will post a link where you can share some of your feedback. Let's see here. There it is. It's in the discourse under the Jupyter community calls topic. Yeah, and keep your eye out for any blog posts or messages, maybe in mid-November, announcing the next community call. If you're interested in sharing in future calls, as you've seen today, it's very open, and we are happy to hear about your work. We'll be sharing more details on the community call on Zulip and a blog post and emails. So thank you all again for coming, and we'll see you at the next call.
Thank you
Great
for
to see
running
you
this,
all.
Rosio.
Thank you, Rosio.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you.